Well, salutamondo. Howdy diddly dandy there, chums. 'Tis I, Captain of the Stees, and today, chums, I want to talk about No Man's Sky, and I want to talk about the year of 2024 and the type of year that we've had. Was it a good year? Was it a big year? All that sort of shenanigans. So you know what, I'll throw up some video inside of the background here, make this nice and big, make sure it's muted, and hit play. And yeah, it's running at 4K. Nice. So anyway, people, we started out the year with sort of the Orbital and Omega expedition, but Orbital delivered in these beautiful new space stations that you can see behind me right here. And you know, that interior and exterior complete reworkings. And not only that, we also got ship customization brought into the mix with this actual update. Now, granted, at the start it wasn't all ships, and it still isn't. You know, we managed to get the explorers and the fighters and the haulers, and we're slowly seeing more ship types perhaps being thrown into the mix with solar ships and maybe shuttles and things like that. So I kind of see that this has got other avenues, other sort of directions it could go in, but at the moment it's been put in rather shallow at the moment as like a footholder to say, we've heard you, we've heard that you want ship customization, it's here, and it's going to be large in time. Now, a lot of people did say that this has sort of damaged the ship hunting community, because now you just hunt for parts and you assemble your ship, colour it how you like. So there's a little bit of a mixed feeling around ship customization. Myself, I love it, you know, but you can still find the generic ships out there in the wild. I mean, any ship that you create has a marker to say that it's been customized and it's a custom ship. So sometimes I still feel that this works nicely in tandem with ship customization. I really liked the Orbital update. I thought it was a banger of an update to start the year with, and it was quite a large update in itself. I do feel that they could have put in a fair bit more depth when it comes to the ship customization, added in more shaders and things that you could find, maybe through the actual multiplayer missions or weekend missions. And then we moved on to the update that you can see into the background right now, which again was a pretty darn freaking substantial update, or expedition I should say. It brought in the Starborn runner. So yeah, this was the Omega expedition, which is running right now on Redux, and I believe it runs for quite some time. 2 weeks in total it runs for, so make sure that you get on this if you want to get yourself the Starborn runner. Now, the Starborn runner ship has got a logo on it that looks like it might be a subtle hint towards ship racing. It's a little Gek with a checkered flag. We haven't seen ship racing come in, but the way that I feel that it could be implemented is perhaps having markers like a ship start line and a finish line with waypoints in between, maybe big rings. You've seen that done in countless games in the past. Now, we've also got the Sentinel Dreadnought freighters that you can now own. You could do combat with them previous year. Now you can actually take ownership of Sentinel Dreadnoughts, which is a nice little addition. There was a bit of a graphical uplift to fidelity, lighting effects and all that sort of shenanigans. Well, we saw ending off on the end there, which was pretty darn freaking nice. So when you put the Orbital and the Omega update together, that's how we started 2024. I'm hoping that we see something as awesome for the start of 2025, considering that Hello Games have now down tools until the start of February. I'd like to hope that we might get something big. Anyway, I'll be doing a video on what I think would be the roadmap for 2025 for Light No Fire and also No Man's Sky. In fact, the Light No Fire one is already out. You can watch it. I'll put a link up there. Then we moved on to Adrift. Now, Adrift has been probably one of my favourite expeditions, mainly because it makes you feel more alone. It goes back to the roots of No Man's Sky as being a sole survivor, sort of exploring the galaxy. And I really quite like this feeling of emptiness, aloneness, being a traveller amongst the vastness of space. And I really enjoyed Adrift. I also really like this ship. This ship's freaking lovely, and it also hovers in place. Now, that perk of hovering in place is actually linked to the engines. So if you do scrap this ship and you keep the engines and put it on another ship, it gets the ability to hover in place. And that's where I meant by perhaps they could add more depth inside of ship customization. It's like you saw there was a crashed ship on a planet. I didn't actually come across any models like that inside of the expedition, but imagine if you did and you came across other ship parts that had perks, other bits that made hover in place a thing. You know, that could work. I'm hoping Hello Games revisit ship customization, add perks to all different parts, and add a little bit of random generation to those perks. So somebody might be able to make a ship just full of different perks by finding different parts. That could work quite nicely. Ship perks, ship missions, I think are greatly needed. Righto, and then we got Worlds Part 1, and they called it Worlds Part 1 in Sean Murray's words because there's far more to come. And that kind of hints that we might get Worlds Part 2. Worlds Part 1 delivered in some lovely new sort of additions to current biomes, including floating islands to a load of these sort of, you know, lovely lush planets. Who's to say that they might not add floating islands to other biome types in future? But they also added in new flora-based sort of creatures, which was really nice. Flora, fauna. Love it. Droid fauna as well, more droid types. I hope that they add even more droid types, maybe even flying droids or even water droid types as well. Imagine that, a robot Allen Gator or something. That'd be cool. But yeah, they also added in Liquidators. Liquidators was another expedition that came with Worlds Part 1, and Liquidators sees us going up against a vile brood, which is like these big alien creatures. They might pop up in this trailer in a moment. But it also brought in these lovely weather effects, and when you have these weather effects and particle effects all kicking off at the same time, it really does make the planets inside of No Man's Sky feel far more alive. Here you go, here's that interaction of them taking out giant bugs. So there's now boss fights, they have boss bars. Boss bars have been added onto the Sentinel Walkers as well, so they have added more depth to the combat yet again, which is freaking awesome. This has been a great year. When you're looking back at these trailers and seeing just what got put into No Man's Sky, we've been pretty darn freaking lucky this year. That's a good hot chocolate, that. Anyway, we've also had fishing added in. I mean, when a multiplayer sandbox game finally gets given fishing, you can kind of say, well, they've done everything else, now they've given this just to relax in the world. I kind of feel that they haven't given us everything else that they could. I feel that they've scratched the surface of Endgame by adding in Liquidators and adding in these new sort of cursed jellyfish creatures, which we'll get to because that came in the latter part of the year in the update of Cursed, or the expedition of Cursed. We'll get to that in a bit. But I still think that there's more to add for Endgame. Maybe raids into the realm of glass, which I think could be coming in 2025, but that would be a future video when I move into predictions and speculation territory. That video is coming very soon. So if you like what I do, hit that like and subscribe. But Worlds Part 1 hints that we might get Worlds Part 2, and I am also hoping that they might add more depth into fishing. At the moment we can catch the fish, we can't store them in like aquariums or do anything with those fish models. We can't even take a picture of ourselves holding that fish to put on Twitter or Twitch or whatever you want to call it, or X, for bragging rights. So this is the cursed expedition that we hit on up, where we encounter these new jellyfish or Atlantid type creatures or fauna, and who's to say that they haven't even got sentient. We also got given this new UFO type ship, and Hello Games says this is the first of our disc ships, which makes me think, if it's the first, does that mean there's going to be a second, a third and many more? Would it be quite cool to add those into ship customization? Heck yes, it would. And could it be that these gnarly models of these jellyfish might come into future game? Because we've had this happen with Emergence, with the worm babears inside of Endurance. I think those jellyfish creatures might come into game, and this new visage that we've got of this Cthulhu type looking guy, could it be that we might even get a new race of Atlanteans? I'm excited for the year 2025 because of what's been laid out in 2024, but 2024, if I had to review and sum up the year of 2024, I think this has been a bloody big year. I think when you get all these updates and squish them together, this has been a Gib year. This has been a Gib year, and Gibs are usually sort of reserved for big updates. Now, Worlds Part 1 got that, but I see all of this as part of Worlds. And I think this year has been freaking phenomenal. And if I was to rate No Man's Sky right now, I'm going to be giving No Man's Sky a 9.2 out of 10. I think it's shaped up to be an amazing game, an amazing adventure, an amazing experience. We also got given the Reduxes, which the Reduxes are running right now. We've got 5 Reduxes to run until February, but we've got given a bonus one. We've had 6 Reduxes because we get to rerun the Normandy, which is playing in the background right now. And when you add that into this year, the year has been phenomenal. The year itself has been great. I mean, yes, although I give No Man's Sky 9.2, if you go over to Steam right now, the actual reviews have gone up yet another level. It's now overwhelmingly positive, the reviews, which is freaking fantastic. Well done, Hello Games. And Hello Games is now up for nomination of Best Community for the Gamers Awards on the 12th of December. And I really do hope they win that. I really do hope that we get to see a little bit more on Light No Fire. Now, Light No Fire is a new project they're working on. I've done a video on how I think the roadmap for that will play out for the year 2025. I'll put a link up there. Go and watch that. But anyway, people, this is everything that I've got for you when it comes to how the year has been for No Man's Sky. Not to mention also cross-save. Cross-save is in beta at the moment. I put this in at the end mainly because I've got it. It's working for me, and I've seen other players like, say, Jason Plays that's got it, and it's working for them. So it's working for us, and we've got reasonably large saves. It should be coming to everybody in time. It is in beta, and it is working lovely for me. So I put this video in at the end just as a little extra. Cloud save, cross save is there. It is coming, and it does work quite nicely so far. And to have that added in at the end of the year has been freaking lovely. Anyway, people out there in the viewerverse, let me know what you think inside the comments. Do you think this was a good year? Do you think it was a big year for Hello Games and No Man's Sky and as players? And do you think that No Man's Sky deserves now a 9.2 out of 10? I certainly do. Until next time, goodbye, and goodbye again.